Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Good morning. Welcome back to World Juniors coverage here on the channel as we get set up to obviously follow along with Norway versus Czechia for I think what we will do the first period or two before we get set up for obviously Canada and Latvia this afternoon, this morning kind of deal at that 11:30 Mountain Time start. So for most of Canada it will be a 12:30 p.m. start, and if not for Alberta and BC at least it'll be sometime in the morning. But friends, we're getting set up for Norway, Czechia. Both teams looking for a response from yesterday. Things didn't quite go either team's way yesterday. Latvia losing 6-0 to, Norway losing 4-1 to the US, and then Czechia losing 6-2 to Slovakia. So that's kind of where both teams find themselves today. Is both teams need a victory, obviously, to keep the group stage going. And one team is assured to get that victory today because they're facing each other overall in the game. So we'll see which team's able to come out. I think Czechia, obviously, I think what everyone was saying right out of the gate yesterday is they need to find some goaltending in this tournament and in a hurry. So we'll see if that ends up becoming a thing that they can figure out rather quick. And right now you're talking about Germany and Finland on our television sets here. That game should flip to Czechia versus Norway here by 9 a.m. Mountain Time. So friends, once again, welcome aboard to Dolynny TV. Glad to have you this morning as we get set up for Norway and Czechia and what should be kind of one of those good games, right? If both teams are going to struggle this World Juniors, it'll be really interesting to see which team can kind of come out and have a good game, which team can kind of come out and more or less see if one team dominates. I think the obvious choice would be Czechia, but you just never know with the teams at the lower end of the World Juniors nowadays. Like you see Germany taking on Finland today, and I mean Finland got dummied by Canada pretty heftily yesterday, but Germany's up 4-3 at the beginning of the third period, trying to do something they've never done, and that's beat Finland in the World Juniors. They're 0-25 over the course of their history, so it'd be interesting to see if that ends up being a situation where maybe Germany makes some history today and is able to beat Finland for that first time. So that's just kind of where we find ourselves today, obviously. And I mean, Norway, if they could find a win against Czechia, that would be probably one of the bigger headlines of the day as well for a team that's wasn't here last year and is looking to make some noise this year, hopefully, for their hockey program. So that's where we find ourselves, friends. And of course, what we know about the Czechia versus Norway game is more or less both teams losing the last game, right? That's kind of where we're at. And head-to-head matchups, the first one in a long while between Czechia and Norway at the World Juniors, I would say at the very least. And you look at it here, both teams need some guys to step up and play some big minutes for them today. And I think that's what you're going to get out of both teams is whatever team feels like they got the chance to win, they're going to ride the bigger players and definitely try and get them out there as much as possible to seal away a victory. Czechia, though, I believe, probably is in for a pretty big rebound performance today against Norway, just because I don't think that last game against Slovakia is necessarily indicative of the team that Czechia will be and the team that Czechia is. World Juniors in, World Juniors out. So yeah, that's where we continue to find ourselves. I don't think there's really much to say. Germany's grinding away this game against Finland right now, up 4-3. In other action this morning, it's been a pretty interesting morning so far, I guess you could say. You got to remember that Canada will face Latvia at 11:30, like I said, and we'll have that call here in a little bit. But Latvia, I did say Latvia, right? Slovakia beat Switzerland 3-0 in action earlier this morning. So a 4-game schedule this morning results in a win for Slovakia, second one in the tournament so far in Group B. So see what they have up their sleeves as they continue to see things go along. Cobras, good morning to you as we're going to get the chat initiated in here for the first time this morning. Friends, if you want to chat away for the rest of the pregame, right, I don't think there's really much I can add to the pregame this morning. It's just kind of more or less tradition with the World Junior streams that I try and go live about half an hour beforehand to kind of get to know who's going to be watching alongside me. So if if you want to throw anything in the chat, feel free, and let's maybe discuss this a little bit. I did watch only the one game, the Canada game yesterday. Kind of was a rough start to the day, obviously getting out of bed as early as I did on a Boxing Day, so ended up sleeping away the rest of it. But you see the results were kind of as they were expected through the first day of the World Juniors, outside of maybe that Canada-Finland game, which was a little bit bigger of a result than I'd say most would have thought it would be for either team. So as we continue along here, friends, as well, for those of you that are familiar with the live streams, I only got 90 hanging around right now, but for those of you who are familiar with the live streams, Train Mug returns for the first time in a long while, found it in the back of the cupboard this morning, so good to see it back there. And yes, Canada does play today. Latvia is the opponent at 11:30 this morning, so as I have planned, we'll probably do the first period of this Czechia versus Norway game, and we'll get up and go eat lunch and get ready for Canada versus Latvia at 11:30. That's kind of the plan. That way we don't have to interrupt for lunch halfway through that hockey game, and we should be able to continue on for what will be a fun little game against Latvia. Obviously, probably see Canada run up the score against Latvia today. That's usually tradition for Canada at the World Juniors against a team like Latvia, so see what the case is today. Obviously, you know, at the Olympics back in, what was that, 2014, that wasn't the case, but we'll see what happens here for Canada this time out. So yeah, that's really, I don't think there's much we really have to worry about here this morning, like I'm saying. So we'll see what happens, but it is 11:30 Mountain, 1:30 Eastern time, so that's when you'll be able to catch Canada this morning. Is either if you're out east, it's 1:30 p.m. If you're out west here in Alberta, it's 11:30 a.m. So keep that in mind as we go along this morning. AM Eastern and Mountain time really does have to apply here for these World Juniors. I got to remember that myself, but yeah, it's where we find ourselves right now, friends. So we continue along, and I'm just realizing here, I don't think I've fully woken up yet this morning, to be honest with you. Sitting here, my eyes all of a sudden, I start talking, got a little heavy, but that's fine and dandy. We'll survive no matter what and get through as is. I'm just excited to watch Germany kind of wind down the clock here against Finland. They've been very good all day, and I mean they got some luck, I guess you could say. They kind of got away with two questionable calls, and now they're going to try and skate home a 4-3 victory over top of Finland. And their goaltender's been pretty stellar so far. 3 goals on 29 shots against. So keep in mind the German goaltender is doing his job and making sure his team earns a victory out of this one. So see what happens here, friends. But obviously we continue along this morning. Just waiting for Norway versus Czechia to get underway at 9 a.m. It's 8:37 right now as we get going here out west in Canada. So yeah, we are close to this hockey game getting going, and obviously too, it'll be interesting to see if Norway has any kind of response here to this game today. Again, they didn't exactly win last game out, I guess you could say. They lost 4-1 against the U.S., put in a very good performance, and then the U.S. just kind of pulled away from them at the time it was time to do so, I guess. Basically, Norway put together a good effort, and then the U.S. just kind of, okay, we're going to win this game, enough screwing around more or less, and let's just go win a hockey game, and that's kind of what the U.S. did there. So yeah, tough go for Norway, and we'll see if they can sustain an effort today that results in a victory for them against Czechia, because if there's any team that Norway is going to beat in this group this year, I think it would be Czechia, just based on how they performed against Slovakia this first game the other day. So that's what will remain to see here as we continue along, friends. And as well, if you look at the standings so far for the World Juniors as it currently sits, right now you see Sweden up there in number 1 spot in World Juniors action in the group. Canada is in 3rd just because Germany hasn't played yet, and they look like they may very well coast to a victory here against Finland, other than they just appear to have taken a penalty. And as well, Slovakia, Switzerland, US, and Norway, Czechia all in that mix as well. So they don't have the updated standings for everybody that's played the games today. That's fine and dandy. We'll get going after all that takes care of things in a little bit. So see what we have in store this morning. Obviously, 2 more games to go yet today, and we'll see if the case is who wins today against Czechia and Norway, and then obviously Canada just has to take care of business against Latvia, and then we will be good to go for this one here. So see what happens. And Corba's no team in the World Juniors plays twice on the same day. I think it happened way back in the day, but I don't think it happens anymore at the World Juniors. So no team plays back on the same day. And that's kind of the beauty here, as this all evolves along. The schedule goes as it is. Schedule is not available at the moment. What? Okay. For some reason, the TSN website just froze up there, so my apologies. But yeah, that's where we kind of find ourselves, friends. Is it's just kind of going to be a game-by-game schedule for both for every team in the tournament for now, and then see what happens the rest of the way home once we get into the medal rounds of the World Juniors this year. So be interesting, obviously, to see if any of the weaker teams are able to make some noise in the medal rounds. Obviously, Germany is looking to make an easy statement here against Finland right out of the gate as well. Canada made their statement against Finland. Finland would be 0-2 to start the World Juniors if they ended up losing to Germany today. So that would be very interesting to see if for Canada that would possibly be Germany and Sweden at the top of their group with them, as opposed to the odds-on favorite, I think, as well, to be up there year in, year out in Finland. So interesting so far start for those players on the Finnish side. They had a pretty decent game at times against Canada yesterday, but then they just weren't able to put together a full 60-minute effort. Canada wore them down and kind of wore them out. And now I think the big part here is Germany's doing another good job just frustrating them, grinding them down, and trying to make sure they more or less just finish them off here in this third period. But it'll be Norway versus Czechia here in a little bit, friends. So that's what we're loading up to watch this morning. Should have been streaming this Finland versus Germany game. This has been a good hockey game so far. And I mean, always Germany and Finland seem to draw a huge crowd on YouTube live streams, so interesting to see there as well. So we'll continue along, friends. I don't think there's much else to add, though. That's kind of the problem. For Czechia, right, they have got quite a win streak going here the past little bit. It was 3 straight wins for Czechia, a win against Sweden, a win against Switzerland, and a win so far against Germany in their past few games as they continue. Sorry, that was actually, I've got that reversed. It goes Germany, Switzerland, and then Sweden, and then the overtime loss against Canada last game out, and they don't have the updated stats for the game prior, which is Slovakia in this tournament, which is actually on a different line. My apologies, friends. I'm struggling a lot more than I thought I would be this morning. I'm a little bit more tired than I gave myself credit for, so that's my apologies. But we'll battle through and get this going this morning. I'm sure there's plenty of time to wake up at some point today, right? That's what I'd say. Just gonna close that rather quickly. That way we don't have to listen to the dog as much as one might think we are right now. So yeah, we are ready to rock and roll here in a matter of about 15 minutes for today's game. That'll be exciting to see what obviously both teams have for us. That's kind of been my theory all morning. I'm just going to see what kind of wild card game this is going to be. I think out of any game this morning, it's likely to be the most wild card game to be said, because just the way it would all work out is Norway is probably expected to do the least at this tournament this year, but as well Czechia having a shocking start, obviously losing the way they did to Slovakia. So it would be interesting to see if that ends up being a weird weird situation where possibly Norway can steal a game and find a way to get a win and kind of disrupt the standings all that much more. So got about 10.5 minutes to go here between Germany and Finland. The game on TSN3 ready to hop over to Norway and Czechia at the top of the clock. That's what at least it looks like it's been promised. So we'll see what the case is here. But 10:27 to go in this third period. The fans in the stands, looks like a pretty well attended game for both Finland and Germany in Sweden today. That's the big thing too. It's World Juniors taking place in Sweden this year. Next year it goes to Ottawa for 2025, so keep that in mind. Could be a very interesting go there as well, to go check out the World Juniors in Ottawa if you're in the local area, as that would not be a bad idea at all, and hopefully just as successful as they always are here in Canada when we get a chance to host the World Juniors. So exactly 10 minutes remaining in this game between Germany and Finland now, and we should be just about set to obviously get things underway for Norway and Czechia here in a little bit. But friends, again, if you are just tuning in, good morning to you. It's obviously a slow start for me, as you see here. I'm just struggling to keep my eyes open, but for right now, I think the biggest thing is these World Juniors are going to be an absolute battle here this year because of the start times. I think that because of work as well, it's going to interrupt the medal rounds quite heavily when it comes down to it. So I don't know how much of this we're going to get to actually enjoy together, but it comes together and we'll see what happens. Richard, good morning to you as well, but I guess biggest thing is that would be good afternoon to you out there in Sweden. Tuning in as an Oilers fan from Sweden. Of course, Oilers need to get their young stud from Sweden, Philip Broberg, back up and running in the NHL here right soon. And as well, I think we got Matthias Janmark out there, Matthias Ekholm, love those boys. So the Swedish contingent on the Oilers this year is pretty impactful. And obviously, the fan base as well is huge as well. It's something that I don't think I see regularly too much during the live streams that we do for the Oilers, but I assume this year we'll pick up some fans from Sweden this year a little bit more as well. And Richard, my apologies if you've been around the whole time, but glad to see you this morning, and thank you for the comment as well. Peter, good morning. And Peter's one that's seen me in much worse shape than this, so Peter's not going to mind me rambling about nothing here this morning, looking like a hurting unit. So yeah, we should be ready to rock and roll for what is going to be Norway versus Czechia in just a little bit's time. Nothing too major a time left here, about 13 minutes to go until puck drop between these two teams here on TSN. Again, friends, if you are tuning in Canada and you want to figure out how to watch today's game, you just go over to the tsn.ca website, call up your mother or your brother, your friend that has a cable or TV subscription of any sort here in Canada, get their login credentials and just log into the TSN website via a service provider, and you will be good to go and covered for today's hockey game, being able to watch on TSN for free thanks to your friends or whoever's helping you out with the TV cable package. So keep that in mind. That's the way I would suggest to do it today, because that, I think, is ultimately the best way to do it. That's kind of the way I would do it, and that's the way I am doing it. So that's where we find ourselves today, as we've got 8:08 to go in this third period between Germany and Finland. Both teams just kind of grinding down to victory, though Finland stoned point blank there by the German goaltender. That was a good looking chance, my goodness. But so far so good, continues on for Germany in this hockey game, who's had a very good hockey game thus far, and I think they're looking to continue what should be a very good tournament for Germany, as they've really come on strong since those Tim Stützle days back a few years back. So we'll see what they have in store for us here the rest of the way home. But right now, as it stands, Czechia versus Norway, 9 a.m. is our puck drop here Mountain Time, so we are about 11 minutes away from getting things underway here on Dolynny TV for a second day in a row. Obviously, yes, I understand I'm live already, but until we get to the hockey. But as I said, the plan so far today, friends, if you're just tuning in, is to go for the first period of this hockey game, and then go eat lunch, go take a break, and then get ready for Canada versus Latvia, this afternoon and this morning at 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time. So it's kind of how everything's plotted out to go this morning. Obviously, we'll see if that plan works to fruition today, or if we have to call an audible because Norway versus Czechia is just that good of a hockey game that we can't afford to not be watching it right now. So keep that in mind. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't think anything here. I don't think there's anything we need to worry about quite yet. Looks like we got a little bit here. Looking for any coverage of today's game. It's Canada versus Germany on New Year's Eve this year, so that's interesting to see as well. I mean, the New Year's Eve game kind of doesn't count for as much because of what time it starts at compared to normal for a Canada game, whether it be in US or Canada. So it's kind of the tough part here is we'll have an early New Year's Eve game, and then I think I'm on the road north to Red Deer to go spend New Year's Eve with some family up there, and then we should be ready to rock and roll for the year 2024 for what is going to be a huge year, I think, personally for the Oilers. Obviously, their back half runs the past few years have been rather historic, so we'll see if that indeed ends up being the case again this year, and then kind of seeing them hopefully get into the playoffs and go on another magical run, as was the way the other years. So we're going to see what happens, but we got 6.5 minutes to go here in this Germany game, and it continues to wind down. Peter, the Oilers' next game is tomorrow night, so of course they couldn't do it tonight. They have to get to it tomorrow night against the San Jose Sharks. Of course, the schedule tonight is very packed, so you don't have to worry about having a lack of NHL if that's what you want to watch today, but same rate you have to worry about the Oilers getting work against San Jose Sharks. The Sharks are playing LA tonight, so they will be on the back half of back-to-back. So if the Oilers can't beat the Sharks this time round, we got major problems. You almost have to just delete the franchise, not even fold it this time out. So yeah, that's kind of the tough part here for the Oilers, is they got to find a win against San Jose, or we're going to be very much so in trouble. As you lose to San Jose, I think that kills everything here. So all the momentum we've been building, you cannot afford to lose. And 2 wins against San Jose and Anaheim, and then a loss against Los Angeles is the expected result. But if you can find a way to go all 3, that would be pretty dang exciting if you're the Oilers and Oilers fans. Let me tell you that much for sure. So friends, we are just about 8 minutes away from puck drop getting underway here between Norway and Czechia, so we should be just about set for what will be a pretty good hockey game today, I think, to watch the first period at least. Norway had a pretty good first period effort against the U.S., and I think for Czechia, they're going to come out flying, or at least try to come out flying, to battle up against Norway, who they should historically be able to beat here at the World Juniors. So we continue along, friends. Just about time for puck drop is what I'm saying, and then we should be ready to rock and roll for exactly 1 period of hockey. And see what happens here, but we continue along, as I don't think there's really much all to add to the pregame. That's the problem. I guess waiting to go live for a minute, for half an hour before the game isn't quite necessary this morning, but we'll see what happens. Don't think there's anything here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything for us to worry about so far, so you like to see that. The nice early quiet morning on the old social media ahead of the World Juniors game for us. That's always a good thing. There's no real coverage of Norway versus Czechia out there as of yet, so we should be ready to rock and roll for a pretty light going game today. Obviously kind of one of those that might not at the end of the day really affect the standings all too much, unless Czechia wants to go on some kind of drive throughout the rest of the tournament games, but that would have to start today obviously for them. Looks like there's a holding call coming up against, I believe, Finland here in this game, and this should be a chance, with Finland now having 40 shots in this game and the German goaltender making 37 saves for for Germany to put this game away. You know, Canada went up big in that game against Finland and still wasn't able to put it away until the very last few seconds. But, that Finnish player grabbed onto the stick there and absolutely just killed momentum. Tough go there. But we continue anyway. Pulkkinen takes the holding the stick penalty there. That's always a tough one to take, and that's kind of, when you make it that obvious, it's going to be called every single time. That's kind of the case right there for Pulkkinen, is he kind of grabbed on and started yanking on that stick more or less. Germany rolling around on the power play here as they try to get things taken care of to end this hockey game and then get us started with our coverage today of Norway and Czechia. That one's going to bounce on net a couple times. I just couldn't get it going. See, I can't even help myself, but obviously today we're going to see what happens for this Norway squad. Their tournament will pretty much be over if they end up losing to Czechia today. If they can find a way to scrape together an overtime loss or a point or some kind of situation that isn't an outright regulation loss, there is hope for them. But for Norway, I think the biggest part is their tournament would be up and over if they lose to Czechia today. That would be 2 losses, and then the best they can finish is 2-2. This one is still just trying to wrap up between Germany and Finland this morning, and then we'll see what happens here for Czechia and Norway. Is this going to be just the German power play killing off clock more or less? They're firing shots towards the net, but really not getting too much of substance through, so they're just more or less moving this puck around the big ice and doing their best to just kind of kill off that clock against Finland. And they're still getting a couple good shots, good open looks on ice, but that didn't end up working. And now all of a sudden you got a whole bunch of kind of situations happening between Germany and Finland. Guys taking runs at each other and throwing hands, so it'll be interesting to see if this divulges into something a little bit more, as Becker there took a little swipe, it looks like, at the Finnish goaltender. No, he actually held up, so I don't know what the anger in front of the net was, but there was something going on there between the Finnish defenseman and the attacker for Germany. But as we keep going here, good morning, I guess what I should say. That's the tough part so far this morning, friends. It's been a hard start to the day, and we'll continue to hard start the rest of the day, I'm sure, as obviously Canada versus Latvia at 11:30 Eastern time. We'll see what they have in store for us, as I think Canada should be able to very well run away with that hockey game, to be honest with you. Germany spent pretty much this entire power play in the zone against Finland. They've been under siege the whole time, and now Finland's going to try and transition out as the penalty expires, but they're hauled down there. No call coming up against Germany. And like I said, Germany, this game's gotten away with some very on the border stuff so far, but again, you got to live right on the edge to win hockey games in do or die games, and that's kind of what this entire tournament is. So good to see Germany living up to that whole mantra of how to win hockey at a do or die level. But 3:20 to go as we are just about ready to flip over to the Norway versus Czechia game, and then we should be ready to rock and roll for what will be a fun hockey game against those two teams today. So friends, welcome aboard. You know, it's just a nice, easy, quiet going morning so far. Looks like Germany has taken a penalty here. This game is going to come down to the wire. I should have really just live streamed the third period of this hockey game. My goodness, has it been good so far between Germany and obviously Finland, but Germany doing their best just now to bleed clock and kind of keep Finland to the outside with the extra attacker on for the delayed penalty. Finland's going to pretty much have the rest of the hockey game to get this attack going. They'll probably go with the empty net and all that and do their thing. So see what happens here, friends. But whew, yeah, no, it's going to be a long day today. Yesterday was a long day. Ended up taking a nap and then trying to go to bed at 8 o'clock last night and suffered sleeping because of it. So that was rather tough, but yeah, no, we should load up and be fine to go for today. Thankful, I guess, Peter, that the Oilers don't have a game today that I have to stay up till 8:30 for something ridiculous. As you know, that is the way of those West Coast games there, especially against the San Jose Sharks, the late starts. That is just kind of how it all wraps up there. Is they love to start them late out on the West Coast, and we'll see what happens here for the Oilers tomorrow against the San Jose Sharks. But friends, we're going to have one last penalty here for Germany, and then that should pretty much do it against the Finnish squad. And I don't know who's going to win this game, but we are momentarily delayed as this one will take its time to settle up, and then we'll get the Norway versus Czechia broadcast going here in a little bit. Looks like there's a timeout, so everything that can delay the end of this hockey game, that's what we're going to do right now, is just kind of take our time delaying it, and then we should see the game finish up and flip over to Norway versus Czechia. Obviously, I think TSN has very tight timelines for how these broadcasts are to be run, so we'll be flipping rather quick. There won't be much studio time, if any, before we get to the broadcast of the hockey game. And now looks like we still have a timeout for Finland. We've got the goalie on the bench here for Finland, and we'll see what ends up happening with late stages here in this hockey game. Germany, Finland trying to settle up a 4-3 score. And friends, we will get to our hockey game in just a moment time here. I promise you that much, as we just have to wait for the channel to flip here, and then I can get you the description, the commentary, and the updates between Norway and Czechia in a matter of about 2 to 3 minutes, as that's Finland getting to the attack right away. But be interesting to see what Finland can muster here with the empty net, and obviously two down by a goal. The German goaltender standing out there waiting to make save after save after save this afternoon. He's up to 38 out of 41 so far. So he's hopefully see this kind of goaltending performance for Norway today, and see if that frustrates Czechia at all, and then see if that gives us a really, really good game all told. And we are down to the last minute 15 of this hockey game between Finland and Germany, so we should be just about set for puck drop between between Czechia and, of course, Norway today. And Epiphany, all good. Try and leave the channel running. That I appreciate. That I do appreciate at the end of the day. We do appreciate also seeing you in the chat. Always good to see you, as it's going to be shot on and save made for Germany. So yeah, no, it's been a quiet morning so far in the chat. Quiet morning overall. It's probably a good thing. I'm trying to get up and running here this morning, and keeping my eyes open has been a rather large battle to begin today's slate of games. Obviously only 2 for me today, again after only 1 yesterday, but one that was pretty, I guess you could say, eventful yesterday. That's much is for sure. Finland's got about 25 seconds to work with here to try and tie up this hockey game. They're now down to 20 seconds and 18 before they cross the German blue line. 42 to 28 the shots on goal for Finland. And it looks like Germany is going to possibly squeak down the clock here with 8 seconds to go. Finland rolling around the high zone. 5 seconds shot on. Save made. Goes to the corner. That will do it for this game. And Finland will finish with 43 shots on goal and lose 4-3 to Germany all told, as Germany comes running off the benches there. They are celebrating a huge, huge, huge victory there against Finland. And now Finland is 0-2. Here in this one. That is a tough go if you are the German goaltender laying down on the ice exhausted after what has been an absolutely incredible performance. Finland is upset, to say the least, right now as they gather in their own zone, and Dietl there for Germany is enjoying what has been a pretty good game so far, and Finland absolutely just deflated there, getting beat by Germany, getting beat by Canada yesterday, and a tough go overall for what has been a pretty good squad for Germany the past few years. Of course, that is history, as BOG says. It is their first win against Finland at the World Juniors in 26 attempts. So Germany is able to do the job and kind of, like, I guess, overall slay the beast and beat Germany in a game at the World Juniors, which is just unreal to see and unreal to see their reaction there. They actually took the goaltender in the net right out, knocked him right to the ground, and it's Team Germany's first all-time World Junior win versus Finland. It's, like I said, their 26th attempt at getting it, and they just got it here today in Sweden. So there you have it. The Swedish crew for this hockey game will come out and present the Player of the Game awards, as Bao there for Finland is not too impressed looking overall with the game, so he will take his watch and just sit back and kind of take the pictures and then probably go back to the dressing room and talk it over with his teammates. But overall for the German squad, it will be the goaltender Dietl that gets the Player of the Game. He had a pretty impactful performance here, obviously making almost 40 saves overall to end up winning this hockey game for Germany over top of Finland. And we will have our game get underway here in just a matter of moments, friends. Germany and Finland just concluding there, a 4-3 victory for Germany, and that should do it here, as we'll have the anthem, and then that will finish us off for this hockey game. As it's awesome to see when you're in a different country for the World Juniors. It's awesome to see all the pro team kind of merchandise that the fans have in the stands today. Seeing some Swedish Hockey League stuff, and it's pretty awesome to see. So we are just about set for Czechia versus Norway here, friends. In a matter of moments, the German national anthem writing down in Sweden right now, and we should be set for our hockey game, like I said, in just a few moments time, and then we should be good to go. So let's see here, what do we got going on? I don't think there's anything we need to really see or talk about as of yet. I think we're pretty well off right now for the time being, as we are just about set for our hockey game to get underway. I've been saying that all morning, but we should be actually good to go here in just a matter of moments now, as we're just about set as this one continues along here, and we should be good as there's all the German players go out to clap and celebrate that huge victory there against, obviously, Finland. They'll pick up their gloves and sticks and helmets, put them back on, go to the dressing room, and go enjoy what was a pretty good performance against Finland. That puts Finland now at 0-2 on the tournament. Now we should be ready to rock and roll for this hockey game today. As we will get things going here in a matter of moments, friends. I'm really not sure how the back-to-back game works yet. I haven't had to worry about that as of yet, so we'll see kind of what the situation here is in a matter of moments, as we should be good to go to commercial break here rather quick, and then ready to rock and roll in just a moment, as we're going to get some highlights there of Sidney Crosby with the Rimouski Oceanic, Patrick Kane from back in the day with the London Knights. And BOG, I think Norway's been here way back when, but it's been a long while since they were last at the World Juniors, so it'll be interesting to watch them get going here today. Against Czechia, obviously a tough 4-1 loss against the U.S. last game out, but we will get right into action here as soon as commercials end, I would assume, as I think that things should get underway rather quickly this morning now that Germany and Finland are up and done with, and I would not complain about that at all, because then I can get quick to eat here before 11 o'clock, and then we can get to this morning's game against, obviously, Latvia for Team Canada. We will want to see that as much as possible, and there's the German player getting all amped up in the box as he's let out, and the box attendant there having a good one. So that was interesting to see. That much is for sure, as that continues into the corner there. The goaltender ends up going down 4-3 for Germany over top of Finland. I'm not sure why we're still covering it. We should be ready to flip over to Czechia and Norway right now, I would assume, but we're still now we're going to the panel here for a little bit of discussion about Germany, Finland, and then should be ready to rock. I'm not sure. I thought I was on TSN3. I am on TSN3 still, so we should be just about set for this one to get underway. And BOG, yes, Russia and Belarus still banned from the IIHF for right now. I would assume that stays in place for a little while yet. But right now, I don't know what TSN's doing, but they're kind of banning us from watching the game I showed up this morning to watch. They still got coverage of Finland and Germany happening right now, and we're supposed to have already Czechia versus Norway on our television sets, but they've still got all the German fans here celebrating the victory, and they've got the German players going into the dressing room here, getting excited to wrap down what was a pretty exciting performance for Germany today. Obviously, Dietl looking absolutely exhausted after that performance. An important one right there, and there's all kinds of refreshments and food, snacks at the middle of the table there in the dressing room, trying to get those guys back up. They've got the stereo just a pumping. They've got the Frölunda stickers on the stereo, so I believe this game took place at the Frölunda Arena today. And they're celebrating what is a pretty huge victory here for them today, as they're clapping and celebrating what was a fun one. So, friends, we are just about to switch over to Norway versus Czechia. We're just finishing off the post-game coverage here of Germany versus Finland. A victory there for Germany, one of their biggest in a long while at the World Juniors. They've had some big ones over the past 3-4 years. That one is a huge one there, as James Duthie puts his hands up. What am I supposed to say? That was fun and electric. So we are just about set to get our hockey game underway here in a matter of moments, and it looks like we are going to get set to flip over, as Duffy is just kind of chatting us up about the last little tidbits of this hockey game, and then we should be good to go for Czechia versus Norway. I assume we're going to drop right into the game, having missed probably about the first 5 minutes of the broadcast, and then we should be ready to rock and roll, but I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I haven't done any midday games yet here at the World Juniors. I finished off Canada versus who was it yesterday? Canada versus Finland yesterday, and that was kind of where we dropped to. We just kind of kept going from there. So Group A looks like their times are between 6:30 and 11:30, and obviously Canada will have the 11:30 game the rest of the time here at this tournament, for at least the round robin games. Finland now 25-1 against Germany all time. The US is 23-4, Canada 27-1, and Sweden remains the only undefeated team. Latvia versus Canada is your 11:30 game today, so we'll keep that in mind, as I'm going to be back live for that at 11 a.m. So we will definitely not have time to cover off this afternoon's full game between Czechia and Norway, but we will definitely at least try our best to keep it going throughout the day. So we're just about to get underway. I think one more commercial break, and then we should be good to go, as we're going to wrap up finally Germany versus Finland. It's taken a little while. My apologies, friends, for those of you tuning in looking for Norway versus Czechia. Again, I didn't know what fully to expect here, and we now join this program already in progress. So we've already got a broadcast going between Czechia and Norway, and we're back into a scoreless game here. About that, 17-10 to go, and this is an absolute clash of colors here, as it's blue, white, and blue on blue, white, and blue. Norway's got the puck in their own zone. I have no clue about the Norway players, by the way. That's going to be a full guess. But this one's going to be rolled around in the Czechia zone here, as it comes back up into the neutral, and Czechia is going to roll out into center ice, into Norway's zone. Norway's able to battle it down low, and they are going to go D to D and pick it up through the neutral zone, looking for a pass right up to the Czechia blue line. They couldn't get that through, and it looks like we will instead have a offside at the Czechia blue line, as Johnson here with a good looking shot a few moments ago, tipping off the edge of the glove of the Czechia goaltender. So be interesting to see kind of what he can bring in net for the Czech side today is that Hrabal, I believe, in net for Czechia. 16:36 to go in this first period of play, as Norway will line up for the face-off here. They'll scramble it back, will Czechia, and this will go back into their possession as they'll try and get out of the zone. They do. 16.5 minutes remaining here in this first period as Norway will go to the far side. Picked up now and worked on the far side boards. They'll come to the near side point. Norway is going to fire the shot, blocked there by Czechia, recovered by Norway and flipped down low into the corner near side as Norway once again on it. And they're just rolling around making sure they win the battles here. And this has been a pretty good little effort so far through the first 2 minutes that I've been able to watch of this game as Norway continues to win the battles against Czechia. Shot fired, goes off of the post wide of the net and comes all the way out of the zone for Norway, as they will have to work back in and tip it at the blue line into the Czechia end, as the Czechs will look to roll out from behind their own net here. 15:45 to go in this first period of play. Like I said, we've already missed quite a bit. Doesn't look like we have any shot clock. The building's quite empty for this game so far. Very few fans in attendance today. They're going to fire the shot. That one drifts wide. And looks like the fans are actually all on the near side. I guess I should give this game some credit. 15:27 to go here in this first period of play, as it's going to work down low for Czechia. They're on the attack offensively. The Norway defender, though, he was pretty tough on the play and was able to knock his man down. Czechia threw down the other defender for Norway, and now they're going to transition back over the blue line. Nice 1-2 cut, and that almost worked out through the middle of the ice in the Norway zone. Norway, though, back to the puck. They're going to fire it far side in front of the benches. One move makes the man miss right to the middle. Puck comes flying around the zone, and that's going to be cut off there by Czechia and picked up back in behind their own net. 14:50 to go here in this first period of play, as Czechia and Norway engaged in a 0-0 hockey game so far. Both teams looking to make an impact here, as this one's going to fire to the far side blue line down low for an icing call, and we will have a stoppage in play and a face-off in the Czechia zone. So just like that, we're up and underway, and obviously the Norway effort so far, as I thought it would be, good enough to frustrate Czechia through the start of the hockey game. And that one off the outside of the post, just barely rung iron there for Czechia, and that was a big hit there as well along the boards, as Hogan ends up going right down to the ice. Norway wins the face-off, gets the slap shot off on the far side point, and Hrabal's able to cover up, and now we've got rough stuff in behind the net. As be interesting to see these guys go at it a little bit as well. There was quite a bit of festivities there in the Finland-Germany game, and now you see here Czechia and Norway throwing a little bit of glove and face washes. Be interesting to see what those two teams can feature here for us in terms of the battle, the compete level today against each other. As the head coach for Norway looking on in this game, he's got the sweater vest going as well as the suit jacket. 14.5 to go in this first period as Norway sees that one won back by Czechia on the icing call. That ends up being a situation where they got a second face-off, and then Czechia was indeed able to clear the puck on the second attempt. Here's Czechia along the end wall. They come in the middle of the ice now. The shot loading up. They're going to overpass it. Shot over top of the net. 14-12 to go as the puck goes up and out of play, and we have a stoppage here. Still a scoreless game, and this is going to be interesting to see, obviously, how this all plays out for Czechia and Norway today. But for right now, I think the big thing is both teams need to try and just find some offense in this game. We have no clue what the shots are because obviously TSN's not giving us that data on these Group B games, I would assume. So that's a tough sell, but we'll see what happens here as Norway is going to be able to fire this back into the Czechia end, cut off there, and they'll come back the other way. For a brief moment before Czechia is able to cut it off and get it back down low. And now Norway's onto the attack here. Back into the Czechia zone. That one tipped out by the white jerseys just briefly, and then the man tries to poke around and work himself down low, and that only results in pick-up possession for Norway in behind their own goaltender. I don't know who the Norway goaltender is either. That's the problem with starting a game in progress. You lose so many of the fine details. Czechia wheeling around the zone right on net and just lost the handle. will drive each other into the boards. Will the Norway and Czechia player, a little bit of a cross check into the numbers there, knocks the man down, and now Czechia will be guilty of a glove hand pass, and we will have a stoppage and play with 13:16 to go in this first period. So both teams doing their best to try and stymie each other's offensive abilities, and I think both teams have been rather physical here throughout this one so far. So not a bad situation at all. But as we continue along, friends, obviously looking very much so forward to that Canada versus Latvia game that is to come here right away. That will be at 11:30, and we'll get that fired up, no question about it, as soon as this first period ends between Czechia and Norway. Unfortunately, we missed a little bit of a chunk of it, which really sucks, but it will battle through. We won't miss too much overall, and we should be good to go here for what should be a good little finish. Like I said, I'm just excited to see the fact that both teams are putting in a 0-0 effort so far. And it's been kind of a situation where it looks like, from everything I've read about that Norway game yesterday against the US, they've kind of lined up the same situation here today. So that in and of itself is exciting. So we continue along here, friends. We'll get back to coverage Norway. We've got a little bit about them here, as we got a little update about how they played against the US. Looks like they were rather physical right out of the gate against the US, and that looks like might be the key to success for all the teams here at the World Juniors this year, is the physicality level and just to compete and battle around the pucks, and that seems to be what Canada did well against Finland yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see. Norway again lines up a big hit along the wall there. Good to see them getting to work there, and then obviously winning the race to the puck as well. Man loses his skates though, and Czechia will force it to the middle. That one cut off there, and this one will now be the man for Norway. I think he lost a skate blade actually, kind of doing those swimming motions out there on the ice with his skates. So tough go there for Norway, who's now for a brief moment shorthanded down low. They get back to 5-on-5, and this shot ripped there by Czechia, save made by the Norwegian goaltender, and we will have a stoppage and play, a penalty upcoming to somebody in front of the net as one of the players ate a stick up high. We will have a 2-minute power play for Norway with 12:29 to go here in this first period of play. So there was a battle in front, and the Czechia player spins around and smacks the guy in just the side of the face, side of the ear, and kind of caught him up high, and that's where the high stick will be called. And yeah, looks like the Norway player lost his blade there, spinning around, couldn't quite get him going, and yeah, just kept trying to push off, and there was nothing there to push off on, as Norway will get to the attack. They'll load up the shot, blocked in front. $1:55 to go here in this first period power play now for Norway, who are going to try and work it out and obviously do the biggest thing they can, which is score a goal here. And they are loading up the attack as they will go D to D and then to the far side. You got two men down low in front. They transition back up high, 1-3-1. The shot comes in on the one-timer. Nobody in front to tip that one, unfortunately for them. They will just backhand down low, will Norway. $1.50 to go in this first period power play, as we have 11:50 remaining here in this first period. Solberg will come up the ice for Norway. 0 for 3 versus the US were they on Tuesday, so a tough go there for them as well, as Norway will fire it around the boards down low, and Czechia able to flip back the other way, and the man gets the attack almost immediately for Czechia, as I believe that is Kulich getting right in on the attack. He couldn't free up that puck, and now Norway will lift ahead. They're going to get their feet moving and try to come over top of the blue line, carry around, and they will look down low and spin around back to the blue line. They come near side boards, back to the blue line near side, far side one-timer incoming, backhand opportunity. They can't get it going, and now this will continue here for Norway as they get 3 cracks at it right there on the power play, and they couldn't do it as there's a Norway player on top of the Czech goaltender Rabel. He's getting harassed right there by Czech in the back there for Czechia, as he just landed flat on top of the Norwegian goaltender. A couple of scrambles at the side of the net, one timer, one rebound, and the other from the other side. as both teams battling here quite heavily so far in this first period. And obviously that's kind of been the key for, like I said, success all around at this tournament so far, is get on the body, get heavy, and get trying to win. So see what happens here as this continues along here, friends. Face off now for Norway, back to the blue line. Down low, near side pass. Now Norway will get back to the far side as they continue to just roll around the Czech zone here with 20 seconds to go in the power play. High point, the shot ripped to the near side. Pass received but cut off and passed again as they continue to load up shots. That one goes off of the goaltender and wide of the net. This one fired all the way down low to the Norwegian goaltender, who will come out to play this one disrupting behind, as that will be quick side, near side pass, and that will be fired down by the Norway squad with 10:20 remaining here in this first period. So we're almost up and done the first 10 minutes of this game. Like I said, we joined 3 minutes gone in the first period, so we've already missed just over 10% of this period. That puck hops right in front of the net. It's kind of a dangerous goal, but thankfully for the Norway side, they see it go wide. Now they're under duress in their own zone, or the Norway defenders. They will make a quick pass to the near side and behind the net to be able to get out of the zone, work up to the blue line and get across, and now down low as they come to the attack. A man slams into the boards looking for a heavy hit along the end wall. Couldn't quite connect, and back the other way comes Czechia. This one will be worked to the far side, and the shot down low here now coming as this will be fired right in front. Blocked there by the Norway goaltender, who, again, I have no clue what the saves are so far this game. Makes another one there. No, actually, Czechia rips it right through him. The captain for Czechia fires home the goal that makes it 1-0 for the Czech side. So, right like that, there's your first goal of the game. And that is a tough beat there for Norway, as they were just unable to really contain Czechia in the zone. And Czechia was able to move that one back to the point. And it's Kulich getting this puck and just zipping it through traffic. And obviously zipping it through the Norway goaltender as well, as that one just finds the back of the net. No problem. A good looking shot right under the glove. Norway's goalie beat rather cleanly. And that ends up being the 1-0 goal now for Czechia with just under 10 minutes remaining here in this first period to play. 9.5 to go in what has been a pretty complete effort so far for both teams. Obviously physicality's been there, defense has been there, and now just 10 minutes in you find your first goal of the hockey game, as Norway will bat it off the end wall. They'll try and get out of the zone again, but I'm going to assume this is kind of what happened against Norway for the US, is they found the back of the net the first goal, and then it just kind of avalanched from there, and they won 4-1. So Norway will play it to the far side, get a pass over, and now they will get across the blue line, looking for a response taken down there by Czechia. And I mean, Czechia has been physical as well so far in this game, so it'll be interesting to see if they continue that. Now up by a goal. The shot fired by Norway, blocked in front by Hrabal in net for Czechs, so he will get it to the near side on the rebound as Norway continues to contain the attack in the offensive zone. 8:43 to go, cut off there by Norway just briefly. Yuri Kulich gets the goal for Czechia. 10.5 minutes into the first period. Sapovalov gets the assist, so does Prick, and that's all you got to know right there. So 8:27 to go here in this first period of play. This one's going to be backhanded down into the Norway zone. 3 Czech attackers against 2 Norwegian defenders, as this one comes back below the goal line now as it comes near side and continues to roll around the Norway zone. They'll make one pass to get out, carried ahead now to the near side on the backhand, picked up there, and again a nice physical play by Norway to just knock the man down and contain that puck as it came back the other way on the sticks of the Czechs. 7:50 to go here in this first period, and Norway is doing a good job battling along. Here's the tough part. I barely know any names on either team, so that's where we're really struggling today to figure out just basically how to call this one, I guess you could say, as this one continues back in the neutral zone. Both teams are just kind of going back and forth here, as they have much of this first period so far. And well, Czechia with the 1-0 lead right now, trying to take care of business here against Norway. 7:20 to go in this first period of play. near side pass over to the Czechs at the blue line as they get across the Norway offensive line, and this one continues to roll around. Looks like we have a penalty coming up. Stick was slashed out of the hands of a player in the Norway zone, and we will have another power play for Norway. And I mean, how critical it was that the Czechs killed off the power play for Norway to be able to score that goal just a few moments ago, that's for sure. So we'll see if that ends up being the case here again, as obviously we are just about to the 9:30 marker on the clock here in Western Canada this morning. Friends, welcome aboard to Dolynny TV. If you are tuning in for the first time, thank you for being here. We'll have coverage of the Canada game here in a little bit, so definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button here on Dolynny TV if you are new to the channel, and we'll love to have you aboard here. As definitely I need to get some more food into me, I can tell you that much, as I'm a little bit starving here this morning, and if I get a little bit of food into me, it might be a little bit more lively as we go into this Canada versus Latvia game in a few moments time here at about 11 o'clock. So keep that in mind. So we are in a 1-0 game right now for obviously Czechia. They fired that shot glove hand side on the Norwegian goaltender. Now with 7:10 to go here in this first period play, we will have a power play for Norway. Again, another one for Norway. They had the critical one earlier that was killed off, and just moments later. So we'll see what happens here on this one. They win the face-off though. The shot fired down low. Can't find the back of the net. Pregame takes the penalty for Czechia. This will be fired all the way back out to the Norwegian goaltender. He comes out to play it. Didn't have to touch that one though, and Norway will pick up and get to the attack almost immediately. Again, inside 7 minutes remaining here in this first period of play. This one played down low. Norway is going to throw the hit in the corner, and this will be bounced back out of the zone down low. Again, the Norway goaltender who will look to make the play. He will underdress, turn over the puck, check into the attack. Good support though from his Norway teammates, and he is able to avoid disaster with a $1:16 remaining in this power play. Norway sees it sealed off at the blue line, and they keep possession for just a moment. Another hit throw in there as they continue along in this first period, just being physical, just doing their job, and obviously grinding down Czechia so far as this continues up the middle of the ice now through the neutral zone. Norway to the attack on the power play across the Czech blue line. They'll rim around near side boards, look for a pass to the middle, and they will have it to the far side boards instead. Now pass to the middle of the ice up top. Now they're bearing down on the Czechs. The shot fired, blocked in front, goes up over top of the net with 5.5 to go, and then the Norway attacker is just absolutely running to the boards, and his head kind of hit awkwardly, and we will have a stoppage in play here and some pushing and shoving between Czechia and Norway now. So tough go, that much is for sure so far. We'll obviously see what happens here. Steen's just kind of leaned on, and then he loses an edge and goes right into the boards with his neck, more or less. Head was turned, and it gets crumpled into the boards there. That's a hard hit, and that's got to hurt for sure. So he's just now getting up, and looks like the team doctor will pick him up and get him back to the bench here as he's feeling out his neck. The referee is looking to assess a penalty here, see if there's anything they missed. And you see here as it kind of takes a cross check, but it's nothing really that was substantial enough to cause damage. He just lost more or less the edge. And we will have a call here for looks like Czechia. I'm not sure if there was actually a penalty on that play or not. And the Czech player is talking it over with the linesman here. And it looks like the referees are going to review this one to see if it was a major penalty. So interesting there for sure. Steen's getting worked over on the bench. And it looks like the Czech player will go to the box here for the next little bit. Steen definitely got crumpled though, but I think you look at the skates, there was a little bit of a toe pick there, I guess you could say. that contributed to that as well. So he's cut up on the eye, actually. That's tough. I don't know if the visor caught him or if he just caught himself up against the boards. Not 100% sure what's happening there. But the Czechs are under review here for that potential boarding call. And then we'll see what ends up coming of this here, as both teams have to try and continue on. Obviously, I think Norway's seen Steen be a key part of their attack so far this game, so it'll be interesting to see if losing him hurts them just as much as the penalty hurts Czechia. And they continue to just talk it over here to the referees, as you see that's just a tough replay angle there in the box. So it'll be interesting to see what the call is going to be here with 5:39 to go in this first period of play. 1-0 for Czechia right now as well. Keep that in mind. And Steen's just kind of got his eye cut open, and briefly they're trying to just get it to seal up a little bit here on the bench, and then we should be good to get back to action here. The referees have their call by the looks of it, and we should have notice here in just a moment as the referees will skate out to center ice, and we'll see what the call is here as he continues along to call this one. And hit from behind is going to be the call, so not sure if the Czech player is going to have to go to the box or not, or if he'll be carted out of the game here, as Steen will hop off the bench, and he is ready to rock and roll. He's good to keep going here. So he takes the hit from behind, and he's back to action almost immediately, as two Czech players will be in the box for the next little bit, and a two-man advantage here for the next little while with 29 seconds to go. So we'll be almost to the 5-minute mark once the Norway side is back to 5-on-4. For right now, they're on 5-on-3 on the attack, and they will get to the face-off. They win it back here, as this one will go far side for the pass. Down low, Norway will set up the attack now as they roll around the zone. Czechs 5-on-3, the shot save made there by Hrabal. Now back to the blue line as they will continue to try and roll around the zone here. While Norway are looking to do their stuff and get to the attack as much as possible here. They're yet to line up an attack shot that's really looked dangerous. That one shot bounces a couple times, went off the post, went off a Norway player, then Hrabal is able to pick it up and stop that one down low with 1 second remaining on the two-man advantage here so far, as that one was a good looking shot. And you see this one load up to the near side, and then it goes off the post again. I think Norway's rung the post twice, if not 3 times so far on this power play. So tough couple of sequences here for Norway so far, and we'll see what the case might be here with 5:10 to go in this first period of play. 1-0 for Czechia, and now Norway will get to the attack one more time as the power play resumes here. The face-off won back by Czechia. The man jumps the boards here, 1.5 to go in the power play for Norway, as the man's out of the box for the initial call. The shot fired up and flipped up on by Norway. This is going to lead to a 2-on-2 back the other way, and it quickly closed off there by Norway as they attempt to get back in possession of the puck. 4:50 remaining here in the first period. The attack for Norway so far ineffective, obviously, though they've hit 3 or 4 posts here from what I've watched in this first period of play, as the shot will come in for Norway. That was thought better of. The shot now comes in. Hrabal makes a quick pad save, and Norway seals off the clearing attempt, and it'll roll around to the far side boards here as both teams continue to press for action down low in the Czech zone. That one's cleared out. 4:20 to go here in this first period, as Norway will load ahead. This one the far side in front of the benches, pass down low again as they continue to work, and this one will come to the far side yet again as Norway will get the attack going, and they will look to backhand this one up top. They can't do it, and Norway sees it cleared out by Czechia on the backhand that missed the blue liner on the keep-in attempt. 3:55 to go here in this first period of play, as Norway will skate around the defender there and quickly get back up the ice and into the offensive zone with 9 seconds to go in this power play. 3:44 to go, and a 1-0 game so far through this first period, as the Norway squad hauls down a Czech player crossing the blue line shorthanded, and that will be a stoppage in play for a penalty here against Norway, as Sapovalov draws the call, and the Norway player less than impressed with himself going into the box. We'll have a stoppage and play right there, friends. I will quickly send you guys an ad on the back end here. And I'm going to quickly see if there's anything we need to be aware of here so far. Nothing to really be noticeable of yet, so we'll keep rolling along. Again, friends, for those of you hanging out with me so far this morning, thank you for being aboard. Do appreciate you hanging out with me during this Group B action, as we are already up to 12.2 hours watched on the stream. So thank you so much for hanging out this morning and being a part of the Dolynny TV World Juniors coverage so far. As again, it continues along. Both Canada versus Finland and Canada versus USA streams continue to just have excellent viewage over there, as well as they continue to just pump out the views. I guess you could say I feel bad for everybody looking for those games, but hopefully you're sitting back enjoying back home. And this has been a tough go. Obviously, I'm quite tired this morning. I did not sleep well at all. Thought I'd get a much better sleep going to bed at 8 o'clock than I did, but it was very rough, very beat up sleep. Actually, I had to wake myself up at one point this morning because I just couldn't hack that dream I was having anymore. So tough go there. 2-minute power play now for Czechia, who will look to try and bury Norway, as Norway so far through the tournament only has 1 goal. So you would figure 2 is probably going to do it here for Czechia if they keep getting the goaltending they have so far in this game from Hrabal, as they continue to just play around the boards here. Czech power play was 0 for 4 against Slovakia. The rebound, the shot, directed right over top of the net, and out of play for Czechia. That was a good-looking shooting opportunity there, and they just fired it barely wide over top of the net on the rebound. They had 1, 2, 3 cracks at it, I believe. The man shoots the puck from the far side. Shot, rebound comes in, and then the rebound goes off of the crossbar and over top of the net. What a good-looking wide-open cage opportunity there. And it's just deflected off a shin pad, possibly up over top. So Czechia gets the one-timer going right in the slot area. Couldn't get that one on net. 3:05 to go here in this first period of play, as the puck will come back to the blue line. The shot fired into the glove of the Norway goaltender, who makes a shot save on a puck that was going way wide. Again, we have no indication on shots so far in this game, so unfortunately nothing to update you there on, but we continue along either way, as that is a big hit along the boards there for Norway as they knock down the man Becker and then give him a swipe at the shins. What for there for sure, with 3 minutes remaining here in this first period. $1:23 to go in the power play for Czechia, as they will get to the open side. The shot now coming in near side off the blocker. The Czech goaltender out of play again, so we'll have yet again another stoppage in play, as both teams now starting to get the feel for it on the power play. And obviously Czechia has looked a little bit more dangerous so far than maybe Norway has on their previous 3, as that one shot fired just off the blocker and wide. There, a good save for the Norwegian side. Now we will continue along the face-off. 1 back by Norway, fired down the length of the ice. 2:48 to go here in this first period, as the clock continues to wind on down here against Norway, as this will be played to the middle. They will go to the far side. Norway backhands out. Of course, this is only the first period. Plenty of hockey game left, but this is really the only part of this hockey game we're going to be able to catch here with 9:43 to go in this, I guess you could say, time on the clock right now, as we have to get back live at 11 o'clock for the pregame between Canada and, of course, Latvia. The shot to the near side gets through the Norwegian goaltender, and that is a goal for Czechia. 2-0 the scores. That was just a huge blast there for Kulich, who fires another goal home. And I mean, that guy looks dangerous so far in this game, as he comes over and just absolutely pipes it through, as that was Stensrud, I think, is in net for Norway. And you look at this one here, just a perfect blast that squeaks through Stensrud, who is trying to more or less just hold on to that puck. And that is a big time opportunity there for Czechia to score the 2-0 goal. That's what they end up doing, and the Norwegian player just is absolutely deflated that is what ends up happening on the penalty that he took. So Kulich absolutely going out there and dominating so far in this hockey game for Czechia. He's been a solid player so far. Scramble up on the draw at center ice. They've got it tangled right in the middle of the ice. There's all 6 forwards tangled in there and still trying to win this one back, and Norway is able to free it up and get it going. So they will see it flip back to the middle. This is going to be cut off by Czechia for a brief moment. Comes to the middle again for Czechia. They were not able to win that puck battle, and far side pass right to the middle works out for Norway, who is just kind of, Czechia has tried to throw a big hits on, throw some big hit on them, and basically Norway stood him up and thrown him back down to the ice. There's a big hit against Norway along the boards, and Czechia continues. But here's the thing, Norway has not backed down from the physical side of the hockey game as of yet, as I think they've been the most physical team I've seen in the World Juniors in a long time, just in terms of going out there and that being their game plan is to play with the edge and bite, that's for sure. So here we go, friends. We continue into the last minute and a half of this hockey game. 2-0 for Czechia so far. The stands a little bit fuller on that side, I guess you could say. This one is shot fired into the glove of the Czech goaltender Rabel, and we will have a stoppage in play with $1:22 to go here in this first period of play. Kulich again just gets into a great shooting area, and I mean he's shooting it pretty much off the face-off dot on the one-timer, pretty much that Leon Draisaitl-esque area, and just a good-looking shot there for him. $1:22 to go in this first period. 2-0 for Czechia over top of Norway right now, and the face-off down, as Norway will see it lost back, and obviously Czechia will get to the attack one more time here, trying to transition through the neutral zone. They'll fire it down low. Comes to the near side in the Norwegian zone. They will continue to battle there with $1:10 remaining here in this first period. Just about up and done, friends, and then I can go get lunch in me and we can get on with that Canada-Latvia game. 1-0 was the score just moments ago. Then, of course, Kulich struck again for his second of the game to make it 2-0 on the power play that time for Czechia. And we're inside the last 50 seconds remaining here in this first period of play, as Norway just continues to harass Czechia every time they have the puck. Sticks, bodies, everything they can throw at Czechia they have so far through this first period of play, despite being down 2-0. Half a minute remaining here in this first period of play. Nice transition play through the neutral zone for Czechia, quickly sealed off, or for Norway, quickly sealed off by Czechia. And that will come back the other way with 20 point some odd seconds to go here in this first period of play, as they will continue up to the blue line. Here's Czechia, one last chance to get an offensive opportunity on net. They'll look to the blue line. The shot loads far side. The shot comes in off the side of the net. 5.5 seconds remaining. Pass to the middle, cut off there by Norway. And friends, that will do it for us here in this first period of play. 2-0 for Czechia after one period of play. And of course it is Kulich with both goals. Friends, you've been watching Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for being aboard this morning. Again, apologies about being so tired. You can see the bags under my eyes. I'm going to go get some food in me and we'll get going here.